taus-puso po namin ipinapagbatid ang aming pagbati sa lahat ng marino sa buong mundo ng Happy Seafarers Day.
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 Happy Seafarers Day. Happy Seafarers Day.
Happy Seafarers Day.
Mabuhay!
Mabuhay at salamat.
Kamangga ng daragatan, hindi ka namin.
Greetings from Merchant Marine Academy of Caraga Incorporated. Happy World Seafarers Day to all seafarers. All the best, mabuhay! Thank you, Marina TV.
Hi everyone, I am Mr. Dan Tolentino from International Maritime Forest Council. I wanted to greet all seafarers a happy International Seafarers Day. Mabuhay kayo at mabuhay ang Marinong Mandaragat. Salamat po. Bye!
Kamangga ko ng daragatan, hindi ka namin iiwanan.
Happy Seafarers Day sa lahat ng marinong Pilipino sa buong mundo. Greetings from the crew of MV Pathfinder. Thank you sa Marino TV.
Happy Seafarers Day sa ating mga kabaro dyan. So ayan, sakto, no? Flight tayo. Anyways, mag-ingat palagi mga kabaro, tibayan ang loob, and God bless sa ating lahat. Thank you Marino Filipino TV for this opportunity. Happy Seafarers Day from your lockdown guys. Ayan. Keep safe.
Mute ka, Mr.
Ay, sorry. Okay, ang inyong tanong, third question, sino ang current Marina Executive Director? At nanonood ang Marina sa atin? Jason Fronda, may sagot agad, ang bilis. Marina Vice Admiral Rene Medina, AFP, nakalagay. Tama ba? AFP?
Islo dapat STCW.
Oo nga. Executive Director ng STCW. Understood na yata yun. Okay. At nanonood from Sydney, si Master Mariner Edgar Sanchez na in-invite ko para sumali sa atin. Doc Glenn. Doc Glenn, mag-stay tayo. Nandiyan na ba yung guest natin? Si Cyrus.
Yes, parang nandito na.
Okay,
Rev Otto nandito na.
Okay, sige. Pag-usap. Naku, spoken in England tayo ngayon. Medyo nosebleed tayo. Sige, go.
Nandiyan na ba siya? Okay. Tita Lou, of course, yung next guest natin and additional guest pala is work as port chaplain for the British Seamen's Mission, Seamen's Christian Friend Society. He offers, Tita Lou, for decades talaga na consultation sa mga seafarers, shipboard, regarding the challenges including the loneliness, infidelity, substance abuse, and distance to family. Let us welcome the one and only and the author of the Seafarer's Mind, How to Be a Good Seafarer, Reverend Martin Otto, sir.
Hi, sir.
Hi, sir.
Oh,
Wow,
gandang
live
hapon.
from Hamburg, Germany.
Live
Okay.
from Hamburg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please greet our seafarers, Reverend Martin Otto.
Yeah, I wish the seafarers always a very, very blessed time on board, and especially a happy Seafarers' Day. Tomorrow, this is a special day, and I just wish that you will come home safely and peacefully, and may God really bless you.
Okay. Doc Glenn, tulungan na kita, no? Ito po, ang mga marinong Pinoy kasi have a long tradition of working at sea to financially support yung pamilyang Pilipino, plus their relatives. Minsan, ganyan ang nangyayari sa ating mga Pinoy, basta may pera. So ngayon ay makakasama natin, andyan na, ang author ng aklat na Seafarer's Mind, at ang sumulat nito ay 32 years nang tumutulong kasama ng kanyang kabiyak na si Miss Monica Otto, and they work with the International Seamen's Mission, Seamen's Christian Friend Society that is based in the UK. At binibisita niya ang daan-daang marino of different nationalities in more than 20,000 ships. Is that correct, Reverend?
That's correct.
Visited 20,000 ships?
It's more than that, yeah.
More than that.
Yeah, but not only cargo ships, also cruise ships and yachts and also Navy ships.
Okay. And the Seafarer's Mind, the book, punong-puno po ito ng mga kwento of harsh realities on board, di ba, Doc Glenn? At yung while on vacation, may mga problema din sila. Mga real stories, mga totoong kwento, hard-hitting account of harsh realities of their life at sea. So go ahead na, kayo na magtanong. Mamaya magtatanong ako.
Yes, Tita Lu. Actually, we would like to, baka gustong i-greet ni Sir Rene Medina, si Reverend Martin Otto, since actually maraming books po ang na-donate sa Marina for the seafarers na sa mga waiting area.
Is this free?
Yes. Baka may message si Sir Rene Medina, sir.
Yes,
Sir Martin.
thank you, Doc Leng, for giving this opportunity. Reverend Martin Otto, sir, thank you for your books. One of our Mets is Ronald C. Diego, religiously distributed your books in our office and even in the certification division to ensure that our seafarers who are getting their certificates will be given these books. And I have also your copy, sir. This one, the Seafarer's Mind, and also on how to be a successful seafarers. I really enjoy your books, and I hope our seafarers can do and have much time to read your books. We religiously monitored or follow on your books, sir. Thank you for giving our seafarers something to read. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm Aluman. It's a real pleasure to serve the seafarers, and as I know, many seafarers enjoy the books and also the families, and even they pass it on to the children, and so it's just by God's grace that we were able to meet our dear Filipino seafarers.
Okay.
First question, baka may question si Kuya Sid. Kuya Sid, since you're a seafarer, did you also receive a book like this, Seafarer's Mind? Or do you have any question, Kuya Sid?
Good afternoon, Reverend Martin Otto. Sir, I'm an active seafarer. I guess I've heard the book, but I've yet to get a copy of that. And by the way, sir, where can we get a copy? And I have also a social media page. So if the seafarers would like to get a copy, is there an ebook for that, or can they have a free copy for that? Like, for example, that they can bring this on board, so while waiting at the airport, or if they're boarding board, so they can use it.
Can you
Yes,
Google it?
I will
Google
answer
it?
that. I will give you in Eastern Mediterranean. I still have some more copy. Because Dr. Glenn has given me a lot of books, and I already distributed part of it. And so if you want it, I still have it.
Yes.
There are also other opportunities in case the books will run out. you can get a PDF of the book, or you can get through Messenger a link. And while you click the link, the book will open up and you can start reading.
Wow.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Actually, Dr. Glenn, Hamburg is a place for me to be remembered. Kasi when I was a seafarer, I think it was 1978 when I went there. I stayed there looking for a job. I stayed there for almost 2 weeks. But of course, I used to work with the Greeks, so I found out hard to find job there. So I went back to Greece. But it was a really very nice experience for me. Being there, staying there for 2 weeks, and it's a very nice place. I've also been in so many German ports like Bremenhaven, Wilhelmshaven. I have been there many times on a tanker vessel. And alam nyo, ladies and gentlemen, the work of Reverend Martin Otto is the one that we really appreciate, the seafarers. Kasi most of the time when the ship comes on board, they're there to pacify us, to give us something, to ask us questions, and to guide us spiritually sometimes with the problems we are encountering on board. And that is till now, still I really appreciate yung movement that movement sa Germany, and not only in Germany but of course all over the world, pero most on dito sa Germany now. First time ko na they are distributing books like this. Thank you very much, Reverend Martin.
You're very much welcome. It's a pity.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Chris.
Go on ahead, please.
Sir, I have a question. I've been to many clubhouses, Seaman's Club, Apostleship of the Sea, and different organizations providing religious support. So I'm just quite curious about this pandemic, your experience in going to the ship. Can you tell us at least the top 3 issues being raised by the seafarers during your visit or in your previous years? Or let's just say in this current time, can you tell us what are the top 3 issues being raised by seafarers nowadays?
Well, that's a very good question, very valid, actually. I would think for the last 35 years that I'm visiting ships, one of the biggest problems still is loneliness. Because even now in the pandemic, it so happened that the seafarers had to stay longer on board. They were not able to get home. And so some seafarers stayed not only 9 months for their contract, or they stayed 12 months. And I have even heard up to 15 months. And of course, if they stay so long, they really miss the family even more. They get even more lonely and disappointed. And so we really need to support the seafarers in that area. We need to encourage them. And one of the reasons why we invite seafarers is that they really get away from the ship and overcome their loneliness. Like, we take a lot of seafarers to our home, and my wife makes a good meal, or we just enjoy them, and we have a great time of talking with them, and we might go out for shopping, or we might do many things with the seafarers, so just for them to refresh their mind. So loneliness, I would say, is still one of the big problems. Well, then, of course, the fear not to get COVID, or the fear that an accident might take place, or the fear to lose the job is always there. And then, of course, the tiredness of seafarers. Many seafarers are overworked, and they find it really hard to continue after 9 months. So we have to find ways to encourage them to just continue for the last few weeks or months until they are finally home.
Okay, your book, Reverend Otto, is offering sound advice, guidance. So they call you Maritime Chaplain. But before you answer that, we have another guest. Let's welcome Cyrus Taklog. He's the MAAP. He graduated from MMAP or MAAP 2011, VS Marine Transportation, dual courses, VS Marine Transportation and Engineering, sponsored by Merck's. and currently working as Senior Recruitment Technical Officer at Merck. Magandang hapon, Cyrus. Bumati ka naman. Hello? Cyrus, are you okay? Hindi tayo nag-system check, Cyrus. So, okay, sige, habang inaayos mo yan, okay,
I'm good
let's
po,
say
ma'am.
hello. Okay.
Hi po. First and foremost, I would like to greet everyone here in the studio. Good afternoon, and to Reverend Otto. It's nice meeting you. I've seen you in Facebook, but for all seafarers on board in here in the Philippines as well. Happy International Seafarers Day to everyone. So it's been nice being nice to join here. Thank you so much for your invitation.
Okay, dahil sa walang simbahan sa barko, no? So, Reverend, how's your ministry doing? For instance, your intervention program to improve the overall well-being of the seafarer.
Well, actually, there is no set plan or something that we follow day by day, but we just try to concentrate on every ship, and we try to specialize to give help wherever it's needed. So we don't follow a pattern, but when a seafarer has a problem, we just look to that problem. Or when the seafarer is lonely, like recently, a seafarer called me and he said, I'm dying because of loneliness. And when I came to his ship, he was in tears. And he said, Reverend, can you just pray for me? I just need a prayer. So I prayed for him, and we just gave us a big hug. And he said, I'm so happy. So we just try to look into the situation. What does the seafarer need today, rather than following a plan that we have in our hands.
Miss Cami, Doc Glenn. Okay.
Yes, Ma'am Tita Lou, I would like to also ask, what is your inspiration of doing this? Like, for example, the free books that you distributed, Reverend Martin, and who gave the support, the financial support for distributing, because it has a lot of money to fund this kind of projects, sir. Thank you.
Very good questions, Dr. Velasquez. Well, first of all, about the motivation. Of course, many times the seafarers are a huge motivation for us because they are so kind. And especially when we meet Filipino seafarers, we experience such friendly people, such hospitable people. So it's a real joy. They are a motivation for us to serve them. And I can really say, when I take friends with me or new visitors, they are always blessed when they meet Filipino seafarers. So they really motivate us. But my biggest motivation is really God himself. And may I just quote something from the Bible, which is really a huge motivation. And I want this also to be motivation for the seafarers. Here we read in the Old Testament where God says, I am the Lord your God, who teaches you what is best for you, who directs you in the way you should go. And this really motivates me that God has a wonderful plan for our dear Filipino seafarers. God wants the best for us. He doesn't say, I want something good for you, but I'm really excited to see that God wants the best for the seafarers. So we also want the best for the seafarers. And we just try to help them in every possible way, whether it be visits on the ship, whether we take them home to our family, whether we take them shopping, whether we visit them in the hospitals, whatever. So we really want the very best because we know God wants the best for the seafarers. And lastly, the question of financing. This is a real difficult one, Doctor. We have experienced that God has been wonderful to us. God has been really faithful, and God has supported us. We sometimes have got donations from people we never expected so that we could finance the books. But especially with the last few printings in the Philippines, I've printed 40,000 books since last November, and I'm just about to print 26,000 books again, so that's 66,000 in roughly 7 months' time. We have had Christian businessmen who were very much willing to finance the books, and business people here in Germany who said, we want to help the seafarers. Seafarers sacrifice for us, and we cannot take it for granted. They do such a wonderful job, so we want to help.
Okay, pwede kayong mag-share, Cyrus and Sid. Reverend, can you tell us some of the harrowing stories that emerged from your personal visits at the port? And okay.
Harrowing talaga.
Miss Cami, nandiyan ka pala eh. Go. Ikaw naman.
Can I ask first something bago niya sagutin yung harrowing question mo, Tita Lou? Yeah, so Reverend Otto, I know you go on board vessels, you visit our seafarers whenever you're needed. Was there ever time when you went on board a vessel and the crew is mixed? There's something like that, right? Like not all are Christians, but there is a mix of Muslims and other religions. So was there ever a time that you held a prayer meeting with those in the group?
Well, of course, when we come on vessels that have more than one nationality, let's say you have Filipinos and Indians, then you will have Catholics on board, and you will have Hindus on board, and maybe sometimes Sikhs. And so you have probably 3 different religions on board. So we are very careful in approaching people. We don't want to offend anybody in their religious beliefs. We just want to share good news. And this is what the Bible says, good news. We don't want to say this is right or this is wrong, but we want to share good news. So especially when I take an example, when I meet the captains are often lonely on the bridge. They have a lot to do, and all the people come to meet the captain, especially in the ports. And when I go to see the captain, I ask captain, what can I do for you? And many times, the captain is just happy for a prayer. I remember when there was the Iraq-Iran war, I went to a British captain. I said, Captain, I know it's a difficult situation. You're afraid to go into this area. Can I pray for you? And that captain was so very happy just for a short prayer of maybe 2 minutes. So we just want to encourage people. We want to meet them in their situation. And when there are different religions, we don't focus so much on religion, but we focus on the things that are common to us. We focus on God, the Creator, because every country and every religion almost believes we have a Creator. God is our Creator. So we just focus then on the Creator God. And can we pray to Him? Yes, we can pray. Will He help? Yes, He will help. Is He interested in your life? Yes, He's interested. So these are the kind of things we're doing.
Cyrus?
Yes,
And,
hi.
okay.
Hi po.
Okay.
So,
Pwede ka mo share ng mga storya na nangyari sa barko, and
Yes.
what would you like to suggest or recommend, lalo na yung mga newly hired seafarers?
Yes, actually, right now po, it's not only one factor that gives problem, problem on board the vessel for our seafarers. I think I can break down it to 3 parts, which is the personal, the social, and the educational factors. And all of those are a problem that they need to encounter daily. So when they say personal, of course, there's as what Reverend Otto was trying to say earlier is about this. Also on his book, I've actually read the synopsis of it, that they are the breadwinners of their family. They need to provide, so that it adds additional pressure to our seafarers, not only on the officers and engineers, but also for the ratings. Then again, social in problems, which is dealing with other personalities, even though they are the same Filipinos or same nationalities, but again, there's another different nationalities on board, so you had to adjust to those kinds of scenarios. And I think the last one is the educational, trying to adjust to this task that you are given when you go on board the vessel. So imagine that all of those are put into one person. I mean, it's not only for seafarers as well, but for everyone who is working. But those too much pressure, sometimes it breaks someone. So when you're trying to ask earlier about some stories, Yes, there's a lot of
Marami.
people.
Mm-mm.
Yes, even especially those in their like second, third contract, still struggling to cope up. And I really agree on what Reverend Otto was trying to say, that uh, you need some guidance really. So I think one of the most uh, problem what they call this big story that I can share is I've sailed with this one Filipino rating, and because of those a lot of problems on board, he doesn't want to go home anymore. So he just wanted to try to probably jump ship somewhere and try to try to run away from all those problems. So it is a really big deal that their families and people around seafarers really do provide or give assistance and try to understand them much better, rather than trying to put more pressure on them to provide as well and
Mm-mm.
also to perform. So
Mm-mm.
it is a collective effort. It takes a village to know that someone will be okay. So hindi lang po yung para sa sarili
Mm.
niya, but it's
Mm-mm.
also
Mm-mm.
for other people to also notice that they should be okay. So I think
Oo.
that's all. Thank
Oo.
you.
Oo. Reverend, when you do counseling or prayer, do you visit them personally, or why don't you just do it online? You know?
Yeah, that's a good question. We do it online, but we also do personally, either in their cabin or in some place where we are just alone, and or even in my house, wherever it's possible. But I just want to add, maybe, if I may, we believe very much in teamwork, and we believe many of the problems are solved when the whole ship's crew will act as a team. When yes, please. When they act as a team, when they act as a family, sort of. And we have experienced many times that we encourage the people to come together on a Sunday, for instance, for a fellowship, where they just pray together, where they just help each other, and where they even read some scriptures from the Bible. And this has been a huge encouragement for many, many people. And I wrote a book. This is actually my master thesis when I studied theology, Church on the Oceans. And this has been a huge encouragement for many, many ships. I've been on one MOL ship, and the captain was leading the fellowship every Sunday. And when the captain left home, the crew told me, "Our father has gone." So I was surprised. What do they mean by father? He is a captain. And they literally said, "No, our father," because the captain had been acting like a father to the crew. And the crew had been like a family. And this ship was running so smoothly. There was such a joyful atmosphere because they were all together in a team. And it was a wonderful example. I've had many, many examples. I even had to send a video to one of the MOL directors and talking about a church on a ship. And this has been really, really encouraging.
Reverend Martin? Yes.
Yeah, I
There's
think there's a comment from one of our listener. May question din siya. From Joshua. Can I read it, Tita Lou?
Yes. Go on.
Yes. From Joshua Chan. Good day, moms and sirs. I am Midshipman Chan from PMI Colleges, and I would like to address my question to Reverend Martin Otto. My question is, what are the unique characteristics of Filipino seafarers that you have observed? Thank you, and God bless, sir.
Oh, it's the unique characters of Filipino seafarers is, first of all, they can easily adjust to a situation, which is really wonderful. They are very friendly. They are very hospitable. They are very helpful people. So very nice people to be together with. So as I said before, whenever I have guests with me, they are so happy to meet Filipino seafarers. So sometimes I just wish that the whole maritime fleet would be Filipino. But, it's just a joy to meet Filipinos.
Oh, okay, Reverend, in your sige, copy ko muna.
Yes, Reverend Martin. I just wonder, what motivates you and inspire you have this advocacy for the entire seafaring industry, for the seafarers?
Well, I think when you look into, let's say, if I look into the population of Hamburg, my home city here, if I go into different places, people never think about seafarers. So seafarers are totally forgotten. And even in the port, sometimes seafarers are forgotten. So first of all, there need to be somebody who really cares for them. If I put myself in the situation of seafarers, and I'm on the ocean for 9 months and just visiting several ports in between, I would find it very difficult if I would be alone and nobody cares for me, nobody thinks about me, nobody helps me, nobody greets me. So one motivation is that we really need to take care of them because they are a forgotten people. I have, by the way, written another book which is called Seafarers, A Forgotten People. And it's really true. So we need to help them. So this is one motivation. But the second motivation is that seafarers are so kind. Whenever I help them, they give a lot of feedback. So that encourages us. Like we have just recently helped a second officer whose son had an operation, and the second officer was not able to pay the full amount for the hospital bills. So we were able, by God's grace, to support a little bit. And this, the feedback we got and the happy child to see, I mean, this really motivates you. And then, of course, our biggest motivation is coming from God himself, from the Bible, where it says, love your next one as yourself. The greatest commandment is love God with all your heart and love the next one. So if I'm living in Hamburg next to the port, the next one is the seafarer. So I want to love them. I want to help them.
Yes. My second question is, Father, for having been in this situation for a long time, can you differentiate the seafarers before and the seafarers now? Because during my time, during the 70s, we are called, we are categorized as man of steel because we can stay longer than the usual contracts. Sometimes 12 months is not enough for us because we are always thinking about our family. Because that's a good thing with the Filipinos, we are family-oriented. So how do you differentiate this two now? Because me as a manager and an owner's representative of one company in Greece, I saw it because I'm now 28 years in manning agency, and I saw a big difference now.
Very important question, Captain Flores. There's a huge difference from the seafarers 30 years ago and now. I worked for a Malaysian International Shipping Corporation in the 70s, in the late 70s, and I would go as an agent on board the ships, and the ships would stay 5 days, 7 days, 8 days. And life on board was very relaxed. Although there was the same work, but life was relaxed because they had more time. And I cannot even remember that many ships had a port state control. Probably they had, but not as often as today. And so there were not so many inspections, and seafarers were more free in a way. They were more relaxed. Of course, they worked longer contracts. They worked 12 months at an average. And sometimes even they extended until 15 and 18 months because they spent the money in the port. But anyway, the big problem I see today, Captain Flores, is that the ship's turnaround is so quick that the work is so hard for the seafarers to finish in such a quick time. There's so much hectic on board. And of course, costs have risen a lot. So companies are reducing the crews. Where 30 years ago, you had about 30, 35 or 40 people on a ship. And today, average container ship has about 20 crew. And these 20 crew must do the same work like the 40 people 30 years ago. So stress is a real big factor. And this is why sometimes I only hug a seafarer and I just have 5 minutes and the seafarer says, thank you for that 5 minutes. It encouraged me. So we need to make sure that we can release the stress of the seafarers. Thank you for that wonderful question, Captain Flores.
Yes, Reverend. Also, I think, as per my experience also on the mining industry, the biggest difference now is because of the social media. That's why some of the crew is so busy on board. After their work, they used to go in their cabin and spend most of their time talking to the family, and most of the time it affects their personal, situation on board. That is only one of, because I'm a product of, as you said, Father Reverend, the Siemens seafarers of the 50s. I am 50 years now, so 5 decades now in the industry. So I saw the changes. That's why I asked this question now, because we are having hard time now on maintaining our crew on board because of these new innovations, a lot of jobs to do, and of course, one of the biggest problem now with mental health is the social media. I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's really true. Social media has played a big role now. We're happy for internet on board. We're happy for SIM cards. But at the same time, it's a blessing for the seafarers to get connected to the families very regularly on a daily basis. But at the same time, it also creates a problem because sometimes seafarers take too much time, spend too much time with the mobile phone, and they sometimes neglect the work on board, which then can become a problem. So I always say there's a blessing and a curse sometimes for many things. Of course, we want to make sure that seafarers can communicate with the family as much as possible. This is so important for their mental health as well.
Yes, sir. Because I remember last time, some of my co-seafarers on board stayed 3 years, but still they are in the right state of their mind, because now that the social media came into the picture, we are now we are now requiring some seminars on mental health. So this is one thing that I said before. Now we are considered crazy. No, just a joke.
Reverend, maybe Sir Rene Medina is also a former military, has a question or any comments, Sir Rene?
Yes, thank you, Doc Len. Reverend Martin Otto, sir, how's the family affects our seafarers with regards to constant social media? You have mentioned that aside from blessing, there are also negative or curse. So, do you have also program with the families of the seafarers?
Yes, although this has to be developed in a much bigger scale, I would say we have a program, but we need to develop it much, much more. We have a seaman center in Intramuros in Manila. So whenever a seafarer has a problem at home and he cannot go home because he has to finish the contract, then we inform our seaman center, and they will just go to visit the families, the children, and help the families wherever it's possible. But we would need many more seaman centers in the whole of Philippines. We have a seaman center now in Manila, and we have a place in Bacolod. We had one in Iloilo, but the chaplain retired. But we would really need more seaman centers, and we are happy for other seafarer centers like Mission to Seafarers in Manila or Stella Maris. They certainly do a great job as well. But we could never have enough. It's important to care for the family. And thank you, Sir Medina. This question is important because many times we care for the seafarers, but we are in danger to forget the family behind. And so we really need to make sure when we talk to the seafarer that the seafarer's family is not neglected. Like I often meet seafarers, they talk to their wife, but they talk only a very short time. And one seafarer once told me, and he said, I only talk 5 minutes to my wife, because if I talk more, the problems will pop up. And I don't want that. So, well, I can fully understand his situation, But we need to find ways in which the seafarer can have a deeper relationship with the wife and with the children. This is so important.
Thank you, Reverend Otto, sir. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on your new book, Reverend Otto. It's a wonderful book. So guys, you can just Google it, no? Di ba, Doc Glenn? Pwede nilang i-Google. Just type The Seafarer's Mind on Google by Reverend Martin Otto. And we hope, yes. And we hope this book will encourage and strengthen the faith of our seafarers. Ikaw ba, Cyrus, meron kayong campaign sa mental health? Babalikan natin si Reverend. Pwede mong i-share with us sa Mercs.
Yes po. Hi again. Good afternoon po again to everyone. So, just to echo what Reverend Otto was trying to say earlier, they do need more support and provide more support to our seafarers. So we do have that. We do have a support for our mental health. We have this kind of discussions and talks to our seafarers just to ask how were their previous contracts. How can we provide more help, support them? How can we also give assistance in terms of their trainings on how can we serve them better? And also for the families, we have this hotline support so they can call if they need also support on how maybe problems as what the question of Captain earlier that it is a double-edged sword, this social media, because it's more evident that they can actually see what they are missing out with their families, so it makes them long more to go home. I think that's the double-edged sword that what he's trying to say earlier. But one thing that, again, to address what one question earlier by Joshua Chan, I think one thing that's lacking right now with our new generation of seafarers are resiliency and being resourceful on how to do the task as well. So mental health is a big issue, but it can be addressed if we provide more support as well. And social media is a double-edged sword, which makes us long more on the things that we are missing out. So that's all I think, Ma'am Lou. Thank you.
Miss Lou, ako when I was a captain, really, the first thing, lalo na when I encounter bad weathers or some problems, the first thing I will look in the port is somebody who can officiate mass for my crew. Yeah, it's the reality. The first thing I will ask the agent is there anybody who can officiate mass on my ship? That's always a good thing to do on board.
Okay, Doc Len, matatapos na tayo.
Yes, actually, I would ask Reverend Martin if is there a date or month or maybe next year you can come here to the Philippines so that maybe we can have a conference. Maybe we will offer a conference by Marina Filipino TV together or a collaboration so that we can meet you in person and together with the seafarers. And we can promote also your books, sir. And last, second question is the short message to our Filipino seafarers around the world, sir.
I'm amazed. All the questions were so much to the point and so wonderful. So it shows that you are really, really caring for the seafarers. Thank you so much. Well, I'm planning, if the pandemic will not be there, to come to the Philippines in April next year, because I have a conference in Singapore in April, and to fly from Singapore to Manila is not really very far. So by God's grace, I'm planning by next April to come to the Philippines. This is one thing. Then if you ask me for a short message for the Filipino seafarers, I can only say what many Filipino write to me, what they write on Messenger or even in an email. I'm really, really encouraged by giving seafarers also a Bible. The Bible has always been a great book of encouragement. So I want to ask them really whether they are, whatever religion they are from, it doesn't matter. but just take a Bible and get comfort, get encouragement, get to know God better, because God is a God of seafarers. When you turn to the book of Psalms 107, God personally talks to seafarers. When we take, for instance, even the first book in the Bible, we see Noah, the first seafarer. So seafarers have always played a very important role in history. And I just want to encourage seafarers, grab the Bible, download it on from the internet on your mobile, or get a hard copy wherever you can. And if you want any of my books, we always want to support you wherever it's possible. And if you have any questions, feel free to write a message on Messenger. So we try to do everything we can by God's grace.
Nakamute ka, Miss Lou.
Okay, guys, try reading this book. Thank you so much, Reverend Otto. So, guys, you can better understand the complexities of your life at sea kapag binasa niyo yan. I'm sure. Maraming salamat. May iwan tayo. Nosebleed daw kay Reverend. Miss Cami?
Yes, I want to thank Reverend Martin Otto. I've seen one of his books also, and I've read about him before. And I just want to tell him that I am amazed and I'm really appreciative of your work, helping our seafarers, because, you know, in the context of things, this world is so huge and we are so small. And this, you know, and everything is moved via ships with all these Panamax vessels, Capesize and all. These are really, you know, gargantuan things for me. And then behind all this, what makes it work? What fuels this economy of the world are our seafarers, sir. And you are one of those who are helping them, kasi, you know, a lot of us don't really see what goes behind the scene. But these are the people that really make things work. So I'm really appreciative of your work, because I've talked to a lot of seafarers as well. I came from a seafarer family. I came from the Western Visayas, so my uncle, my brothers, my cousins. I've lost a few cousins as well, never seen, and we never knew what happened to them. So this really affects me as well. So I just want to thank you for your hard work on behalf of the seafarers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Doc Glenn? Okay, go online and read the book, The Seafarer's Mind. And this book tells about the effect of separation from your family and the loneliness that comes with a job. Ayoko nang maging seafarer. Okay, thank you so much.
No, Miss Lou, kasi you can more appreciate yung whatever the good Reverend Martin Otto is doing if you are a seafarer. Kasi once you meet him on board, it will really relieve all your worries in your life. Para you can be more closer to God.
Thank you. Ano na? Tayo na, maiwan na tayo. Doc Glenn?
Yes, okay. Thank you, Reverend
Thank you so
Martin
much.
Otto. And
Thank you,
hopefully see you.
Hopefully to see you, sir. Hopefully to meet you in Manila, sir.
Thank you, Reverend Otto.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you very much for your kindness. I really appreciate meeting you all. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, tayo naman.